Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 15 with Fosca, the podcast. My guest today is Louise Evans. Louise is the founder of The 5 Chairs, which we'll be talking about during the podcast. She also has an incredible TEDx talk, which I encourage all of you to listen to watch, and she'll also be telling us a little bit about that. So I have invited Louise here today to talk about her personal journey, how she got to Italy in the first place, and also the incredible work that she does with the 5 Chairs. Louise, welcome.
Thank you, Fosca. Lovely to be here.
It's so nice to have you. And, I want to dive right in with the questions because I've known you now for a while, but I don't think I know your origin story with Italy, how you got here in the first place and why you stayed.
Yes. Well, before coming to Italy, I had lived abroad before. And the first time I went abroad was when I was at university studying. I went to France. I was studying French, one of the subjects, and that was my first experience of really leaving England. I'm Welsh, but I was born in Cambridge. After that experience, I went back and I thought, I really enjoyed that. So the first job that I took was in Germany, in Munich. And after that, I realized that the success of any living abroad depends on the country you choose to live in.
This is true.
A pretty banal statement, but you know what I mean. But when I was in Germany, I realized, no matter how much I respect the German culture, and it was a very important experience for me to have to, because actually one of the things that I became extremely interested in and actually taught as well was cross-cultural diversity management. So living in Germany and being able to compare the approach to communication to many different cultural dimensions was important for me because I was able to compare at that time between England, France, and Germany. I enjoyed 2 years in Germany, but I knew that I needed to probably migrate to the Mediterranean. When I went back to England, I kept leaving England. I kept thinking, no, I need to live abroad. Speaking to friends about the Mediterranean, where to go, I think I had chosen it needed to be between Spain and Italy. I had Italian friends and they effortlessly convinced me to go to Italy. And then it was about where. And when I asked the question, if you were me, where would you go? Most people said first Florence, followed by Bologna, and then Rome or Milan. But having been born and lived for quite some time in Cambridge, I thought probably Florence would be a perfect match because it is such a beautiful place. It's like an outdoor museum.
Exactly.
So I contacted a school. At that time, I was actually teaching communication skills. I got a job and moved. And I remember going through my third culture shock because you live through culture shock. Well, in France I went through it, then in Germany as well, and I think it was pretty radical in Italy because when you're born in England and when you live in Germany too, rules are there to be followed quite universally. So I arrive in Italy, it's like, oh my God, this is chaos here. I can't even cross the road without having to be very careful about where I look. And so I realized that I could be an anarchist in Italy, which I'd never been able to do anywhere else in the world. So I did some naughty things. Well, I sort of copied the Italians and started breaking rules and regulations and quite enjoyed it.
Of course.
So I thought, okay, after 6 months, as I said, after 6 months of culture shock, and I really got into the culture and fell in love with the culture. I mean, people say, well, did you move because of a man? No, I moved because I fell in love with the Italian culture, the people, everything, the place. And I've been here 40 years now, and I don't think I want to go anywhere else, to be quite honest.
I love that story. And it's the first time I'm hearing it. And I love how you speak about, and you light up when you speak about how Italy sort of freed you, but enabled you to be the person that you are, that perhaps you always were, the anarchist that you are, I love that. So you talked a little bit about your background and your career path, but I really love the story of how the 5 Chairs was born. It's a really personal and powerful one. Would you share with our listeners how you came up with the idea of the 5 Chairs? And then we'll get into, what it is. We'll get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah. Well, I think it was highly related to the relationship with my mother, which was slightly dysfunctional. We had this love-hate relationship. I mean, she was a Welsh powerhouse. I mean, she came up to my belly, basically. She was a small Welsh powerhouse. But we did have this love-hate relationship, and she was quite controlling, but she's also extremely generous. So there's a polarity in her, which was extraordinary. But when I misbehaved, which is something I realized I did quite a lot, she would sort of abandon me. And when I was abandoned, I felt completely lost. Yeah. So the complexity of the relationship that I had with her led to some dysfunctional behaviors of my own. And I thought, I got to work on this. So I came to that quite late in life. I mean, I think when I arrived in Italy, it was a very, very dear friend of mine gave me a book called The Beginnings of Learning by Krishnamurti. That was life-changing because actually it's a book that explores the way the mind can lead you down dysfunctional roads. So that was a wake-up call, and I thought, wow. So I thought, okay, I need to intervene in my own life rather than blaming problems on other people. That was the beginning of a long journey of spiritual adventure, let's say. I mean, I did all sorts of stuff, from all types of yoga and breathing and courses and you name it. And part of it was to improve my own behavior, and part of it was also to improve my relationship with my mother. And that's where I came across some extraordinarily key people in my life, teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh, Vietnamese Buddhist monk, extraordinary work, mindfulness. Then Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, again, understanding how the mind can sabotage you. And I think also extremely, extremely important was nonviolent communication, and Marshall Rosenberg, who is no longer with us. But I did 10 days with him. It was life-changing. Well, all of those things were life-changing. And I watched myself becoming a more presentable human being. And also that brought with it the understanding of my mother, that I would never change her, but I could deeply try and understand her. Yeah. And also see what characteristics I had taken on board unconsciously from her. Then I consciously changed. So from all of that, I sort of repackaged a lot of things that really worked on me and were life-changing, and turned them into this model of the 5 Chairs. So I've borrowed from many people, in particular these 3 teachers in my life. And it was designed really to help me have a better relationship with her, but it really quite worked. And I was suffering from imposter syndrome at the time, and I thought, I frequented all these amazing people. How can I possibly think that I've got anything, a model that I can get into the world? But I started doing it with friends, and they said, this is pretty powerful. I thought, let's try it in companies. So I did some experimentation and got some excellent feedback, and thought, well, it works on me, works on a lot of people. This is probably going to be what becomes the driver of the rest of my career. And that's exactly what happened.
And that's what it's become. And it's an incredibly powerful method. First of all, thank you for sharing this story with us, because every time I hear it, I don't know, it makes me very happy, because the idea that you really were so driven to mend this relationship, to understand this relationship, to go beyond. And instead of staying in a place, and this is sort of, I guess, the movement that also the 5 Chairs represents, you really wanted to be an active agent of change in your life. And you took, you had the agency to do that. And I just really respect that. Never since I first heard you talk about the 5 chairs and I watched your incredible TEDx talk. Everyone, please check it out. It has over 6 million views for a reason. I think about it all the time. Louise, I really do. And I often ask myself, okay, what chair are you sitting in now? Why don't you move from the yellow chair to the blue chair? Or this person could really benefit from getting up from the red chair and going over to the purple chair. So tell us more about the 5 chairs, the colors, and the animals.
Oh my God! I mean, you're amazing. Look at you. I love the way you're using that in life. You're using it in the right way. It's designed to nudge people into self-awareness, because we're triggered every day in our lives, and that provokes some of the worst of our behaviors and mindsets and attitudes. The idea is the 5 chairs represent really 5 different mindsets, 5 different ways of being in the world, 5 different sets of behaviors. So you have 5 colors. Actually, the colors I've taken from Hinduism. They are from the chakra system, but I'm afraid I have to say I took out 2 colors because...
That's okay.
You forgive me.
It's
I should
okay.
ask Hinduism if they were forgiving me, actually. So we start with the red. We go red, which is down in the genital area. We move up to yellow, which is the solar plexus, then up to the green chakra, which is gorgeous, is the heart chakra, and then to the blue chakra, which is the throat chakra, which I love because it is the chair where you speak up. So it's the blue, and then up to the indigo, the viola of violet, which is the crown chakra. So the idea is that when we're triggered, we always have a choice of how to react, and you can be reactive or you can be responsive. So if you're reacting from the red chair, which is the Jackal chair, which is the attack chair, then you choose to attack the person back. And there all our toxic behaviors come out, like blaming, complaining, punishing, and all of the things which are holding the world back, organizations back, families back, everything back. This is the worst side of us, but it comes from our fight, flight, freeze way of being in the world. Then we go into the hedgehog, which is the opposite. Instead of attacking other people, you attack yourself. So you become a hedgehog, which is the animal of the chair, and it's your self-doubt chair. And that's when you shrink into your imposter syndrome, disbelief in yourself. So those are the 2 chairs we're trying to manage and spend less time in. And then we move into the green chair, which is a beautiful chair. It is I had problems with the animal there. It's the chair where we come into self-control, and we're managing our energy, and we're managing our emotions in particular, because in the other first 2 chairs, their emotions are controlling us. Here we're taking control of our emotions so we can be rational. And it was like, well, and what if we've got the jackal and we've got the hedgehog, what are we going to put in the chair, which is like you come into vigilance, and you calm down, you calm your system, and you're looking around and observing and watching so that you can react appropriately. And I thought the owl. But then I did some research and discovered that the owl actually has negative connotations in Southern Europe and in the Middle East. So I thought, can't use that. So the meerkat. Perfect. Standing there vigilantly, looking over the family, etc. And it was lovely because it was my father's favorite animal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was beautiful because my father and I used to watch hours and hours of animal documentaries together and comment on them. So the beautiful thing is that whenever I do the 5 chairs, I have my mother with me, who's the one who's actually inspired the whole model. But then when I get to the meerkat chair, my father, I mean, they're both dead now, my father comes to mind, and it's so beautiful because he was an extraordinary man. He was a mixture of the meerkat chair and the last chair, which is the giraffe chair, which is empathy. And he was the greatest example of empathy I think I've ever met. He was one of those fathers who would when my mother was going, what's that about? I'm being controlling, criticizing, what's that about? My father was saying, there are 2 points of view here. So, it was great to have both sort of visions of the world. So he was amazing at training us to say, no, there's not tunnel vision. Think that there are 2 sides, 2 points to this situation. Brilliant. So he represents the last chair. the giraffe chair, the giraffe because it has the biggest heart of all land animals, so that's and the longest neck, so it has big vision too. So that's a beautiful chair. And the one between the meerkat, where you have now calmed into a situation where you physically and spiritually and mentally can actually respond productively to the world. You go into the dolphin chair, which is sort of, I love the dolphin chair too, because that's the one that I took longest to develop, which is the speaking up. Is because I was, when you're born in England, and people say children are to be seen and not heard.
Also in the United States.
Okay, right.
When I grew up.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so you sit in the background of your life, in the background, like sit in the back of the car of your life. The dolphin is the opposite of the hedgehog, so it's about how do I speak my truth? How do I be authentic? How do I take the courage to step up and say what I really believe and be sure and confident, and to be able to say I don't know and feel okay about that. So that was a beautiful journey to go on, and the person that helped me a lot with that actually was my husband, who's Palestinian. Now the Palestinians have been through so much in that. I mean, here I am, British, sort of middle class. Mm-hmm. Hello, what problems did I ever have in life? Meet someone and fall in love with someone from Palestine, and he's we have a wonderful relationship. We often use the 5 chairs in our relationships. It was a bit Jackal, but I mean, he is a pure dolphin. Is how to stand up for yourself and fight for your rights. I mean, the Palestinians have done that forever. So another beautiful influence in my life. So basically, the chairs represent in every moment in your life, you have a choice with all the consequences. So the idea is it's better to actually design your life, architect your conversations in the meerkat, the dolphin, and the giraffe chairs, because that's where we're being productive in our lives and therefore bringing positive energy into the world.
I love this, the way you, it's the way this method is so motivated by the people who influenced you so much. And I love that you use it also in your relationship with your husband, because this makes total sense to me, And you mentioned briefly, let's talk a little bit about the world. Let's bring it out into the world. And, we're living in a world that is really characterized by a lot of bad behavior and poor communication. And I see how the 5 chairs can really help us shift from unconscious reactions to conscious choices in the way that we not only communicate, but the way that we behave. Can you talk a little more about sort of the ways that you are teaching and applying the 5 chairs in the world so that we can start being better? I think that's really what it comes down to. I can't think of another term, but how can we behave better and communicate better? And how does the 5 chairs give us the tools to do that?
Yeah, so well put. I think the power of the 5 chairs is the simplicity. I think what works is that as we work with the 5 chairs, you have 5 chairs in front of you. And you can actually visualize the different reactions that you can have in life. And I think the power of it is the chairs themselves give you feedback about your behavior. And that's a non-threatening feedback because they're chairs.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, it's interesting because I just done something really lovely this weekend. There's a friend of mine who set up a school for Bulgarians in Florence, and she invited me to do the 5 chairs with their children and the parents together. And because one of the areas that we really are concentrating on now is education, from the age of 4 to 16. And we have some Erasmus money, and the University of Estonia, of Tallinn in Estonia, is now accompanying us on a journey to certify the methodology scientifically. And this is terribly important. But when I was with the kids, I mean, I don't have much experience with kids. I worked much more with adults and teachers. I just said to the kids, these are magic chairs. And, when you sit in them, things happen to you. You have different behaviors, and we had a lot of fun. And I realized that, children are really taking it on board because it's playful. They very quickly adopt the behavior and they say, oh, that was a bit Jackal, wasn't it? Or they look at each other and they say, you're behaving like a hedgehog, but I'm a giraffe and I can come and make you feel better.
I love that.
So, they bring a lot of creativity they make puppets, and they very quickly adopt the language. And this is gorgeous because they gaining self-awareness.
From a very young age.
From a very young age. And, because we started the 5 chairs in corporates. So we were working with C-suites who were the sponsors for it to do into middle management. And another area we really want to concentrate is emerging leaders because they are our future.
Yeah.
So I think we've made a strategic decision that we're going to take the 5 chairs into schools. That's already happening, but also concentrate very heavily on young talent. University level, but also pre-work level, or emerging leaders, people who are already managing teams but need support. Yeah. Because these are human skills. It's about, before you open your mouth, be careful about the words you choose because they're going to have an impact with all the consequences. And very often, we allow ourselves to blurt, or, after work we go home and we dump on our families and look at the consequences. We adults have so much control over how the culture of our family and atmosphere is going to be of an evening. Yeah. But excuse me, these are the most important people in our lives, and often we reserve our best behaviors for people at work and our clients, but our families deserve the very best of us. So we talk a lot about the courses. What are we doing? How have we set up life? And, okay, this is unsustainable, the way we're living our lives. We're running around like headless chickens. And so when we do go home to the most important people, we're not giving them the best of ourselves. So it's about how can we manage ourselves better first. Then when we're better at that, we can also manage other people who are not managing themselves.
Exactly. I want to ask you so many questions, but I want to stay for a second. I want to go back to education, but before I do, I really want to talk about the corporate world or the workspace, if you will. Because you very recently, you spoke at the HR Vision Conference in London. It was like a couple of weeks ago. And you presented the 5 chairs as a practical, scalable solution for transforming work culture and elevating human connection across global teams. How do you see the workplace right now? And why is there such a need for frameworks like this?
I think fundamentally people are working far too hard. When going through COVID, there have been many reasons why there have been reductions in staff in the workplace, and people were doing 3 jobs basically, and just barely coping. Then we have AI, which is driving. I mean, this is the most important theme right now, is many jobs are going to be lost. Yeah. And all the administrative jobs will be lost. I think it's terribly important that people are encouraged to dialogue with AI and have a positive relationship with AI. I mean, there's a lot of negative commentary around AI and GPT and all the rest of it. And I really think that it's about how you use AI. I mean, certainly since I've been using GPT, my productivity has increased 40%. And there's no doubt about it that GPT can offer us high levels of cognitive intelligence. And can do things that we can't do because it's such a huge brain, but it can really support us. But it also gives us amazing cognitive ideas. I think where we still competed is at our level of consciousness. Is I don't know if ever AI will reach our level of consciousness, and that thing which is uniquely the spark that the human brain has in creativity. But if we put that together with the high level of cognitive intelligence that GPT has, I mean, wow, the partnership is amazing. So I think that the 5 chairs helps people to remember what we as humans bring to the game. And that we need to develop that more and more, because that is what is going to distinguish us. the empathy and the creativity and all the rest of it. I mean, AI is catching up with us, but we really do need to forge a strong partnership. It's not going to work if we keep walking around saying it's the devil and it's going to destroy us. Of course, it's going to change. I mean, we're going to do jobs that we shouldn't be doing. That it will be. I mean, we don't want people working in factories. We don't want people doing mindless jobs anymore. There's going to be an evolution where new jobs will be created. I mean, it's a huge debate, but I personally think the only way forward is to build a strong relationship with AI moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, you answered my next question because it was about AI,
oh, right.
which is, I've been talking about it. I think I talk about it with every guest, and that just shows how present it is in our lives. And I'm on the same team as you are. And the way I see it also, and I love the fact that you use the word, alliance, you use, ally. These are important terms because there's a lot of fear around it. Mm-hmm. And the fact is, though, that, frameworks like the 5 chairs bring out our humanity. And that's what's going to win in the end, right? That's where AI can't beat us. So I'm so glad you said that, empathy, compassion, listening, understanding, human contact. So I love the fact that a framework like yours in our incredibly digitized, artificially intelligent world brings us back to that humanity.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, you could do 5 chairs on the. You could do 5 chairs on AI.
Have you tried?
Yeah, you have a choice. Actually, I did present this as a.
This is so cool.
at a conference in Bulgaria. Is you can be a jackal and you can attack it and you can say how damaging it is. It's the devil. From the jackal chair, you can sit in the hedgehog chair and fear it and say, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm not up, and it's going to destroy my life and everything," and become cowardly towards it. You can sit in the Meerkat chair, take a moment and look around and see exactly what AI can do for the world.
Yeah.
But let's not concentrate on the negative things. Let's look at all the amazing positive things that can contribute to a better life. Yeah. You sit in the dolphin chair, you become proactive, and this is very important, is you learn to be part of AI. You learn skills, and this is going to upgrade your own performance in life as well and make you more productive. But the chair I love is, can we be empathetic towards AI? What is it trying to actually contribute to our lives? Because the negative spin is too easy. But if you look at all the level science, for example, look at science. I mean, if you listen to some people, they're actually saying, well, there's a fear around music, there's a fear around writing. There's writers are saying, actually, it's making me a little bit more creative too, because it augments my creativity as I'm dialoguing with it. And I think that's really interesting.
And it's incredibly powerful. And I think, again, you started the podcast with this, we are our own worst enemies. Our fear is paralyzing. And so fearing the unknown, fearing, all of this stuff. And so, again, really having a deep understanding of ourselves and where we are. And that's why I think, one of my next questions is, what do you think it is about the 5 chairs that resonates so much with people?
Yes. Memorability. It's psychologically accessible because, one of the things that I had to do to test that it was going to work, when I was in my sheepish stage, is, I can't do this in companies, is I have to test this with bankers, with IT people, and with engineers who tend to say, soft skills, fluffy stuff, and it worked because it's logical.
Yeah.
Because you can see the framework, you can see the 5 different mindsets. So I think that is it. It's also, I decided to give 5 different, you have 5 nudges. You have also objects, because each chair has an object, like you have a sort of whip in the hedgehog chair where you're flagellating yourself. You have a mirror in the dolphin chair when you look in yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, what is important for me? What are my feelings? What are my needs? Doing nonviolent communication in the dolphin chair. You have the magic wand in the Meerkat chair, which everybody loves. I love it because you get managers coming up saying, where you get that wand, and does that work on other people? I mean, which is hilarious. Like, well, first it's got to work on you, rather than controlling other people with your magic wand. Is just so there's also a lot of fun around the 5 chairs, which I think, it takes us into very deep places because you're looking at yourself and you're asking questions about, wait a minute, do I behave like that? What impact does that have? Maybe I shouldn't do that as much. I should turn the volume down on my Jackal chair. So I think it's simple, but can be very, very profound depending on where you want to take it.
Yeah, and it's visual, it's interactive.
Yes,
I've
tangible because of the chairs. You sit on them.
So you're in movement, and I think also for me, because I've also been to one of your presentations where you actually, the magic wand was there, and the mirror, and the chairs, and the dolphin, everything. And I think when you really see the movement, then the way it happens I think I'm a visual learner. I don't know.
Yes.
I have a photographic memory. And so when I have these moments and I'm like, and I really can see myself moving. And I think that's so powerful to have that. It's so, I don't even know.
Visceral.
Yeah,
tangible.
It's tangible.
Yeah.
It's tangible. And so I think that's one of the many reasons why it is such an effective tool, because, as you said, it is something that's relatable for so many different people, even the skeptics,
Yeah.
I want to get back to the kids because I love kids, and I worked as an educator for many, many years with older children, if you will, with teenagers. I worry about them so much, living in the world we live in, and I don't want to cry. But I do when I think about how our children and our young people are navigating this world. I worry.
Yes.
I worry.
Yes.
And so it makes me very happy that you're doing this work in schools and that it's really being recognized as a powerful tool in education by administrators, educators, etc. Could you tell us a little more about the work you're doing specifically in education?
Yes. The big dream is really is first we start with the teachers, and it's wonderful. We've done a lot of work in Canada. It's wonderful because actually when you do the 5 chairs with the teachers, the staff room changes. Because, teachers are under a hell of a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
They really do need support, but they bicker with each other. So they jackal with each other. So that's beautiful because when teachers have to, you hear them going, oh, God, another methodology again. But actually with the 5 chairs, we haven't had that resistance because it's easily onboardable, let's say. It improves staff room atmosphere because actually people are jackaling each other less, teachers are. Then when the teachers are certified, then they do it with their classes. So then you have the school, which is becoming, we actually have a 5-chair school in Canada, where everybody, even the cook, has done the training in the 5 chairs. So we're trying to elevate the whole level of human behavior in the schools. Then we bring in the parents. Because we want them to be involved because, it's sort of warned against this. We have to be very careful if the children go home. And it did happen once, actually, when there was a young boy who'd done the 5 chairs and he was playing his games on the screen, and in came his father and he said, how many hours have you been doing that? You should go and do your homework. And the young boy just turned and looked at him and said, Dad, you're behaving like a jackal.
I love that.
It was amazing. It was all very cool,
Yeah.
And his father was like, what are you
and I was
thinking,
talking
you've got to be
about?
very careful. Yeah, we got to let parents know that we're talking about jackals and dolphins. Otherwise, they'll think, what the hell is going on in that school there? So we onboard parents as well so that we can touch the whole community. I mean, that is the dream, is that it becomes a very simple language. It's wonderful. Michael Bouchard, who I'm working with, who's heading it up there, and he has 5 chairs in his he's a headmaster, 5 chairs in his office, and when he sent the bullies, he talks them through the chairs. It's amazing, and the bullies are saying, "Well, so then I'm a jackal, so I can be a dolphin." They don't even know sometimes they have a choice. They're in default behavior.
Yeah.
That's what they've learned, and that's what they keep playing out in their lives. So that's very effective. Beautiful story of once when a young boy he just walked into the Michael's office and said, I want to sit in the Meerkat chair. He literally sat in the Meerkat chair for 10 minutes. Michael didn't say anything. And then he went. He said, no, I'm feeling better. He got up and he walked out. And Michael called me, said something just extraordinary has happened. Can you imagine?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And also, the biggest thing was in Ireland. We have 4 beautiful schools in Ireland, and they're tough urban schools. We decided to take it up to teenage levels. Oh my God, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. And Annette, the teacher, came back and she said, it's pretty amazing. They are talking about their real life situations at home now. They're dropping the mask. Because they have the chairs in front of them, they refer to the chairs as they're talking about their own situations and about how, well, okay, so if you react like that with your parents, what happens? Well, are there any other choices here? What would it look like if you actually reacted from that? So that was,
wow. That's powerful stuff, Louise.
Yeah, it is. And we just actually done something very beautiful with another friend, Cristina Cortese, fantastic educator. We did 2 webinars. Literally yesterday was the second part, where we had 150 manager parents on a webinar, and we were talking about okay, what do you do when the kid says, no, I don't want to do my homework? And we were taking through the chairs and looking at different scenarios, and they really appreciated as parents as saying we need to be careful about the way we actually model behaviors in front of our children, because they're going to copy everything that we do. So, one area which I think is one of the huge area of importance is for couples, because that's where the whole thing starts. How are we treating each other, husband, wife, mother, father, because we're modeling behaviors that we hope our children. So let's be very careful about how we are modeling communication and behaviors with each other. That is the basis of society, is the couple.
I mean, first of all, this story about the kid who sat for 10 minutes in the Meerkat chair,
amazing,
blows my mind.
It blew mine as well.
It blows my mind, but it must feel so rewarding to you. I love the fact that you're doing this work with parents, and that you talk about community, because it kind of gives me hope that we can be better and we can do better. And I think that the magic of the chairs is that there's something, just like you said, working with teenagers in Ireland in a not easy situation, kids who come from families with real challenges. There's something that seems to be very liberating about occupying that space, right? And so saying, okay, well, this is not me, but in this chair, I have the freedom to speak freely, to speak about this very real situation. I think it gives people sort of permission to occupy a different, come from a different space.
It's beautiful what you say. It's like stepping outside yourself.
Right.
And then you can sort of reason around it rationally, because you're not in the emotion.
You're a little removed from
That's
it, right? And so it's
detached.
like you almost have on it, but it's not masking yourself. It's embracing an identity to then be able to process the various ways you could approach this situation. And I think,
absolutely right.
The couples thing, maybe I should have used the 5 chairs. Because, I mean, maybe I would be in a different place right now. I mean, it just gives us, I think what it does too is it gives you that ability to really, as I said, I think about it all the time. I pause.
Pause, brava. That's it.
And we need to pause.
Yes, that's it. It's just that minute is as the temperature of a conversation is rising. It's that, oh, wait a minute. Now I have a choice here. We can spoil our evening together, or actually I can take a deep breath and choose to say something else which is not going to escalate this conversation.
Right. And it really changes the outcomes, and it changes the outcome. God, I'm so glad you said this, because it starts with our relationships at home, with the couple, with how we parent, and
how we model,
because then it's obviously our kids are going out into the world with whatever we gift or whatever we've given them.
Well, look at my parents used to argue all the time. I mean, they lived together until they 74 years of marriage. They were both alive. They both died at 98, but they celebrated their platinum wedding anniversary. Can you imagine it? I mean, but I say, as my mother used to argue with my father. My father was an incredible had a way of managing it. But I grew up and I thought, well, it's normal to argue. I failed in quite a few relationships early on in my life because I just argued all the time. I thought that was the way you ran relationships.
Yeah, well, that's, even in Italian, they say it, l'amore è bello perché litigarello, right?
Litigarello, but what a pain in the neck.
But that's awful. But that's like a real cultural burden. It's a linguistic and cultural burden, and it's certainly not exclusive to Italy. So this idea, that there's passion and, whatever. It's nice to live kind of peacefully.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, the 5 chairs changed my way of living relationships. And, even I tried to argue with my husband, but he was, by Palestine. And Jamal, he said, no, I'm not going to do this. I want harmony. I want peace. And I slowly backed off and I learned, and with the help of the chairs, we don't argue anymore. Well, I mean, from occasionally, but we move at it really fast.
So
and
healthy.
I think that's the thing, is that the chairs help you move out of. We're not going to stop judging and complaining and all of that. We can stop complaining, but judging in particular is something that the brain does an awful lot. But you can reduce the amount. That once you catch yourself in that mode, you can move very fast into Meerkat and say, sorry, I'm having a bad moment. And then you can change the atmosphere. You take the responsibility for improving the moment.
I'm to my last question. And you're spreading this incredible method. You're in schools, you're in corporations, you're helping people, you're talking about helping couples. What's next for you?
Ooh. Well, actually, you know what? You caught me at the right moment with the question. We've just come back from Dubai, where for the first time we had a stand for 3 days. And it was a lot of fun because it was very colourful. So we were talking all the time. And the Middle East is extremely open now to social and emotional learning. We want to take it global. We are right now talking to a group who would like to help us take it global. We met them there.
Wonderful.
And they have an extensive introduction. We need to be able to speak to ministries of education and as far as education is concerned, and really concentrate on taking it to young people who are going to, the generation who's going to lead the world in the future. Because we need very different leaders.
Yeah.
God. So that's the dream, is how to globalize it, and I was giving myself 10 years to do that, basically, is dedicate to that, get the legacy up and running, but and take the right amount of time, not to rush it, but with the right people. And I trust in the universe supporting the 5 chairs, because so far we haven't had any real obstacles.
I mean, and you shouldn't, because what you're doing is so important, and I'm so grateful to you for bringing it to the world. But I'm also really grateful that the world recognizes what a powerful framework this is for change. You speak about our future leaders, and this is so important and crucial, the work that you're doing right now. And so I want to thank you for the good work you're doing, the great work you're doing. I want to wish you the best of luck with going global. I have no doubt that it's going to be tremendously successful. It already is. I also want to thank you on a personal level, because you're very inspiring to me. And I just really appreciate that you're in my life, and that fate or the universe, conspired to help us meet. And you're very inspiring to me. So I want to.
Oh my God, I'm
thank
having
you.
tears here. Oh, but I could say the same about you. I mean, it is rare to be in a conversation like this, because you're so empathetic, and you really do. But I love the way you talk, and love the way you analyze things. It's just a pure joy. I know that whenever I'm going to be in conversation with you, it's going to be rich. So I want to thank you.
Well, let's do this again. We can do it again. I want you to come back when it's gone global, and we'll talk more about it. I think we'll put all your information in the show notes. I invite everybody to look at your TED Talk, to look into the work that you do, to understand how the 5 chairs can really revolutionize your life. And it's so simple. It's so simple.
Thank you so much.
So thank you again for coming today.
It's
Grazie.
my pleasure, really. Thank you.